I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Wes. Thank you so much for that. If anyone wants to send in any requests, topics, reactions, reviews, lists, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Now this is for an anime from 1982 actually called Space Adventure Cobra, the movie. And of course, no, it has nothing to do with Cobra, Sylvester Stallone. This is before that. It's a sci-fi anime with a very out there plot. I'll say that. It's a very out there, almost nonsensical plot. But you know what? This was rather entertaining. I would say I'm not a big anime guy, but I would put this as one of my favorites. With Akira, Ninja Scroll. Because out this film, which is a lot of fun. When you watch films like this, the dubbing, it's not usually that good. But at least this was kind of a fun, bad quality to the dubbing. It went at a fast pace. I mean, it starts out with this lady, with this creature with purple hair and shoots his fucking head off. Because she's a bounty hunter. And it definitely has a lot of style. Like when she shoots the fucking head off, it falls down, its glasses shatter. She grabs the fucking head, which then attacks her later. And then one thing leads to another, and she meets up with our lead character, Cobra, who is a bit of Han Solo, a bit of what you would see from Star-Lord and Guardians of the Galaxy, like that type of character, who he's infamous throughout the galaxy. He's changed his face to hide, I guess, his identity for a little bit, and from time to time his fucking arm turns into a gun, and I thought that was rather cool. That was rather, each time, and that's what I mean, it's satisfying. You know, anytime, like, man, if he just turned it, and then boom, he turns into the gun. It's called the Psycho Gun. Each time he uses this thing is fucking badass. The way it's shot, the way it's edited, it gives a sense of power to this weapon. It was really cool to see. I really enjoyed that. And that's what I mean. Sometimes this is simple things that float my boat, so to speak, I guess. And it's very psychedelic. It's extremely psychedelic. It makes you think that someone was on acid while making the picture. Where they're in space and then stuff's flowing around, the kaleidoscope of colors. I did not expect it to be that... You sure this is not made in the 70s? I mean, it's 1982, so there's some of the 70s rubbed off on it. but in a good way. I love the aesthetic. I love the look of it. Shows a variety of different locations and spaceships, and it's that 80s type of animation. The 80s type of anime. I'm a sucker for that look. Well before the days where everything's just CGI and there's, I don't know, not much character or personality into the animation, which I know doesn't make sense, but I don't know how else to describe it. And, okay, people, what do you mean by psychedelic? Like two halves of a head crossing opposite sides, floating in space, and just certain stylistic choices of direction. You'll have a card, like a piece of paper floating, and then you see this image on it, and it gets closer, it transitions into the next scene. And yeah, I thought that was, instead of just a boring regular transition, that was an interesting way to go from one to the other. Now, when I said the plot is out there, this girl who Cobra quickly falls in love with, and more so vice versa, once she finds out who he is, 5 minutes later, she's ready to ride his dick all the way up and down the highway. A Hershey Highway, maybe, if that's her kink. She's one of three girls, three sisters, and something about, if I can remember what the fuck this was. How the fuck do I describe this plot? The three of them, I don't know how the fuck to describe this plot. Their star has no sun, which I thought, isn't the star and sun kind of the same thing? Do stars have suns? But whatever. This little professor that looks like a fucking Buddha. Like, you know the Star Child from 2001 Space Odyssey? If he grew up to be like a little Buddha in a floating ore, like fucking orb, not orb, floating orb. And these three sisters, they want to find their true love, and once they find their true love, if one of us love him, if it's a true love, then all of us will love him, and will either help us go back to our galaxy to then be the queen, and either all three of us will join together to be a queen, or whoever's left is alive will be the queen. And one of them is her, another one is, he meets the other two, one of them is with the bad guy, and the bad guy is this figure in gold, and he's got like a metal skeleton, but then his skin is porous. His skin, stuff goes through. Even his weapon, it goes through his skin. But then he can solidly smack you in the face. Like I said, it's a pretty out there plot, but even that was kind of fun because it was different. It wasn't typical. And you know, it is a film more for adults. There's nudity. At times she has tits with star on the nipples. At least that was my favorite star. So imagine the tit and there's a star on it. Just on Star Search. Let's sit on my face. But there's robots, the arm cannons shooting down ships. There's one point where he shoots a ship and you see it slowly disintegrating, this blinding light, and you see like almost a body disintegrating with it. Like the way some of the action's handled is very cool. There's a point where he shoots, and they do this certain animation where he shoots like boom, and then they cut to your boom, and they cut to your boom, of the lead's head, like here, then here, then here. It was just, I don't know how to describe it, but just certain way it's replicated for effect during this battle scene. it made it dynamic. Like I said, there's a great sense of style to it, along with the crazy ass plot and the psychedelic visuals. And yeah, the plot, even I got confused at times, but it goes at a fairly fast pace. They go from A to B to C, someone dies, get to someone else. At one point, they're in a penal colony, and there's these undead creatures, and this cool shot of he has his arm cannon, but he also has a six shooter, and he uses his six shooter, pop, 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 and you have this like black and white art with each gunshot. That's what I mean. When I see this, and apparently Alexander Aja is a big fan of this, which is based on a manga, which I never read, which was in the 70s. And then I believe there was a TV show, which I never saw that. But like Alexander Aja, the director of the Hills of Eyes remake and Crawl, he's a big fan of this property. And I guess in 2013 he wanted to make a film. Maybe produce it, but he also wanted to direct it at one point as well. But it was going to cost like $100 million, the version he wanted. And then Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and he had to change certain things. And then The Force Awakens, Star Wars came out, and they said, nah, we're not going to do this because... I'm like, why not? It'd be fucking better than the new Star Wars movies. Again, I get why Star Wars would be made because it'd be more successful because of the name, the brand, the recognition. I'm just saying, as a guy who wants to enjoy a movie, yes, I would rather see Alexander Aja take this property and see what he could do with it than the shitty Star Wars sequels that we got. You could take all three of those fucking movies shoving up Kathleen Kennedy's ass and Ryan Johnson's ass. Give the money to Alexander Aja. I want to see what he could do with Space Adventure Cobra. With a cool poster, the guy with the cigar, because this theater always has a cigar. He's got the arm cannon. I don't know if it'd be rated R. I mean, technically this anime I would say is rated R. I don't know if he would get away with that with a $100 million budget. Unless you're the Matrix. Just the Matrix sequels. Which in retrospect, they don't really feel R-rated. But to have a movie that actually feel R-rated, I mean, I don't know. It'd be a risk. I would love to see the risk, but I don't know if they get much of a reward for it. That's why they don't take the risk. As a businessman, I can understand. But as a fan of movies entertainment, I still wish to have seen that. But sadly, no. And again, I like that we go through a vast array of locations, from the space battle scenes to this snow planet, this sequence on a train. You have the penal colony. It's not just on one or two places, and so each one you get different collection of ships or gear, locations. A good aesthetic to it. It's based. I mean, Cobra has this idea. What do you call her, a pilot? This female android, and you can tell she's female. Not that that's a bad thing, except she's made of metal. That's the bad thing, but I don't know. Just saying. But I would like to have learned a bit more about this android. Like, what is this android? Where did it come from? Where did it go? Cotton Eye Joe. Would like to, maybe in the manga and the show, they describe this character a bit more. But again, just... what's more of her story? Like I said, there are times when I go, what the fuck? When one person dies and then you see her naked riding a golden spirit horse. I'm like, what the fuck? What's a golden spirit horse? And there was one moment that made me like, ew. during the train, this innocent person's on the train and she gets shot in the head and it looks like her face fucking deflated. Like she gets shot and you see the rest of her face just, she just shot in the head. It's like the inside is gone, so it's just holes in the mouth and just something about that, like, ew. I'm not a, it takes a lot for me to get that reaction, so it was effective. But overall, I mean, it takes out the bad guy at the end. They go off and do their thing while Cobra's alone again, or at least with his sex android or whatever she is. So you want to take bets on how our journey will end? Who says it has to end? Guess you're right. And I would love to have seen a sequel. Again, I guess there's a TV show, there was a cartoon, but I mean like a sequel. Would have been nice to see. I would love to see what Alexander Aja would have done with the movie. Because that's an interesting director for that kind of flick. Like you say, the plot, it took me 5 minutes to try to explain the plot. If you don't know the plot, good luck. But if you want a fun, entertaining anime with a lot of style, that cool early 80s animation that you would see in heavy metal, I would put heavy metal above this, but that look, aesthetic of the film remind me of heavy metal. And a lot of action and great style with using the arm cannon. A lot of cool. It's a cool movie. It's a cool stylistic anime, and this is quite a bit of fun. I would say I liked it more than the other one, Venus Wars. This one was more my style, more to my liking. Like I said, the trippy scenes made it even that more, gave that more bit of a character to it. So overall, I liked this quite a bit. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.